Yo, this is Nova Trifecta.
Yo, Nova Trifecta.
What's up, Nova Trifecta?
We in the house. We in the house. If we listen to each other's heart, we'll find we're never too far apart. And maybe love is the reason why, for the first time ever, seeing it eye to eye.
That boy's singing. Well, y'all enthusiastic today.
That's the songbird of our generation.
I just like the fact that Tom look old out here watching the game.
You just gotta give it a little time, man. Give it a little time.
Football is back.
Introductions. I am Alias, aka Jimmy Fedora, aka Juice.
What's up, Nova Trifecta? This is Big Daddy Troy.
I feel like I need a nickname now. Yo.
I got Mag Negro up here.
Yeah, Rashad Dawson, aka Mag Negro, in the building.
All right. How y'all doing, man? How was y'all week? What y'all been up to?
Going to work, hating it. Coming home, going to bed. Eating badly, getting fat. Trying to do some cardio. Went to the park this week with one of my best friends. Got beat in a game of 21 by an 18-year-old. He told me to get off
your strength.
He told me to get off the court. My godson told me I wasn't as good as I used to be, and I felt every bit of it. But the Lakers advanced, so it's a good week.
What about you, Ken?
Well, my condolences goes out to Rashad. That was quite a beating. It is hard keeping up with the young cats. As you all know, I do have a high schooler who's quite an athlete himself, and I'm scared to get on a basketball court with him because I don't know if I have it anymore. Well, it's not a question if I have it anymore. I know I don't have it anymore, and that's sad. It is sad. Getting older is sad.
Your son is an athlete, though.
He is an athlete.
I wouldn't take that hard because he's a good athlete.
He is a good athlete. I'm very proud of him. Very, very proud of his football team. His football team, the Dora High School Bulldogs right here in Dora, Alabama, they are 3-0. Had a big win this Friday night against Hansville. Looked good. Everybody played really well. That defense just was all over the place. Looked good. My week has been good. It has been, being the husband, being the father, taking kids to school, trying to figure out this virtual learning, which I'm about to pull. Oh my goodness, I'm about to pull all my hair out.
My child would be on his own.
Oh man,
there's no way I would do it.
Thank God I married Lady Beck because she is so much more smarter than I am. So she's helped our kids a lot with that. It's still challenging, even for her. It's still challenging. So I know I don't have I don't have a chance when it comes to that stuff. But just being a husband, father. But fellas, football is back. I had a little spring in my step this week. Man, I'm so excited.
It put a little extra spring in your step with football being back, the NBA playoffs getting into the thick of things. I mean, it's starting to feel like Earth again. So
yeah, just a little bit.
How about you, Juicy? AKA Jimmy Fedora. How was your week, brother?
Just working out here trapping, to get into the money, the usual. yeah, the usual, man. Just trapping and just trying not to get shit on like Odell.
Oh, the Cleveland Steamers.
That's nasty. I know you say to each his own, man, but I don't know, bro. That's too much. That's too much.
Man, that was too much information. Do y'all think that chick is lying? That's what I want to know. There are some very trifling, hateful hoes out there that will try to get money for a lot of stuff. And I'm just wondering, was that one of those outlandish outtakes to try to break the internet, maybe get some money off of that?
Yeah.
What was your thought?
I don't even want to speak on it because I don't know. I don't know what the man. Hey, look, the man can do whatever he wants to do.
I told y'all in the group chat, to each his own. Some people like to get shit on. Some people don't. Some people like golden showers. And I recently had a dick pic to slip out into the Twitterverse like Chris Evans.
Oh,
Hey, celebs ain't having the good this week, man.
That's Captain America. That's America's penis.
Yeah, standing at your attention, sir.
You always got to figure that out, man. It's always scary when you send one of those pics because once you send it, you can't unsend it.
No face, no case. He did it to himself though, but no face, no case.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Hey, this
Don't
is no
ever
lie.
put a face on it.
I'm not gonna reveal the person. This is no lie. I know somebody personally who sent some sketchy pics. I mean, some real sketchy pics, and had his face in them. Why, I don't know.
Don't do that.
He turned around. Hey, what the bad thing is, this chick attacked him and wanted, she wanted some straight dough unless she was, or she was going to release him. And hey, you got to be careful.
That's why you can't ever put your face in it. Don't put you can lie as long as your face ain't in it.
No face, no
case. Yeah, exactly.
When your face in it, bro, you just messed up.
Hey, it is that's a hard lesson to learn. I personally don't keep nothing like that on my phone simply because my little 6-year-old is quick to grab my phone, call people, text random stuff to people, get on my social media, and that's my biggest fear is, you got Big Daddy spread eagle out into the universe. That's not a good look.
It's a few people that's gonna know. Hey, that's Magnegro right there. If they see that pic, it's a few of them few girls that's just gonna know. Hey, that's Magnegro right there. That's Magnegro.
All right. First order of business today. The Kardashians are finally coming to an end in 2021. 14 years, 20 seasons. That's a fuck ton of TV.
Golly.
I know you must be like sad, really sad about this, Shad, because the world knows. Anybody that follow Shad on Facebook knows how much he loves the Kardashians. Tell them how you feel.
Well, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I used to look like when the Kardashians first started. I distinctly remember. I remember the first time I was working at a place called Boyd Brothers, and a guy came in there and he was like, "You seen that sex tape? That sex tape with Ray J and Kim Kardashian?" I remember how he said her name. It was Kim Kardashian. And I looked at it and I fell in love with her ever since. And so, like, the first probably 5 seasons of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, I used to watch it all the time just because I wanted to see Kim. But then after that, it kind of lost its interest to me and everything. But I was a big time fan. And like the first 4 or 5 seasons, I was a big fan. But then I guess they always was real Hollywood. But it used to feel like a family, at least. You used to get kind of a family atmosphere and vibe from it when you watched it. And then I think when they just started getting real famous, they had to turn it up a notch every season. And it kind of lost that family element that I used to value when I looked at it. I was looking at it to see Kim's booty, but they did kind of have a little family atmosphere around it. To me, when the most famous they kind of lost that element, so I kind of got lost in the shuffle after that. But it's crazy that 20 seasons, like, 14. Golly, that's crazy.
Let me ask you this. You could chime in too, Kendall. What do you think that show did for the beauty of women in America? What kind of trends came from that?
I'm going to tell you this. It did not take me long to figure out when I started watching, and I didn't watch it religiously. I didn't. Like Rashad said, it had a type of family element to it. What little bit I did watch. But it had that, it's a Hollywood family, and y'all know Hollywood families are way different, and they're into way more sketchy stuff than our normal families. A family with that much money and that many egos is just, it's something that we'll probably never understand, and I'm fine with never understanding that. But having known them Kardashians, they drive men crazy. I'm telling you. Look at Lamar Odom. They turned Bruce into into a woman. I mean, they put a hurting on some fellas. They were crazy. But man, that show right there, it exploded just in different ways. Like, I mean, Kim K, makeup and perfume and all sorts. I mean, it's just crazy what all they did.
I think the reason why it exploded, though, this is how I always rationalized it in my mind. I thought the reason why it exploded is because you know how some people just, like, it's one thing to be a beautiful person, but some people just are interesting to look at. Like, they just look different. Like, you got beautiful women, and then you've got that. And it's like, when they first came out, I think they kind of like mesmerized American men. I think it was like,
absolutely.
They
My best friend
different.
had a Kim K poster plastered above his bed.
Well, I think they just some people just have an interesting look. Like, it's one thing to be attractive. They just got an interesting look. Like, they look interesting. Kim just looks interesting.
I'm about to say that they have an interesting, unique figure. They're gorgeous girls. Very gorgeous girls.
Oh, yeah.
But they have interesting features. They have a kind of a unique look. I mean, my God, like Reggie Bush, he couldn't get over Kim. His wife looks a spitting image of Kim Kardashian.
Just like her. Yeah.
Just like her. I mean, follow him on Instagram, fellas. He found a Kim K lookalike.
He did.
Yeah.
But
I think
Jimmy Fedora had posters plastered on his wall above his bed in the trailer.
Sticky posters.
I'm telling you.
And those posters were sticky.
No, man, they were very captivating.
I mean, really, I think that I'm gonna tell you the truth, and we live in a predominantly white town. I remember when white women didn't want a booty. I remember when white women didn't value curves. I remember when white women didn't like thick lips. And when everybody saw Kim kind of changed the narrative. And she kind of like, okay, now everybody appreciates a big booty.
Oh yeah,
that is what I was waiting to see.
I remember when they used to make fun of our women, black women, for having the booty, the thighs, the curves, the lips. I remember when they used to try to ridicule our black women for that. And now everybody wants to have that look. I think a lot.
You always seen growing up when I dated girls and stuff like that, white girls had these cosmopolitan magazines that told them everything they needed to know. There was no women on those cosmopolitan magazines, the Cosmo, whatever you want to call it. To me, it was this supermodel was supposed to be just kind of, just a little bit of, bump in the front, but it was supposed to be so slim and petite and stuff like that. That's absurd, man. I mean, that is absurd. Women should be voluptuous and curvy, man.
I'm just saying.
When
Kendall and Juicy body shaming.
No,
I'm not body shaming.
They would only put straws, in those magazines,
exactly.
Straight up and down. And
y'all can't be calling the women straws.
You call it what
skinny women attractive too.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not saying, hey, females. I mean, it don't matter what shape and size you are. Females, God done wonderful when He created a female. Okay, but I'm not shaming nobody. But I'm just saying, like Juicy was saying, and you were saying, like, it was the first time that somebody with all those curves were like mainstream. Everything was going nuts. And I mean, it's kind of crazy. That was just kind of crazy.
Black women have always been voluptuous, curvy, booty, thighs, curves, lips, all of it. Black women. But I remember a time when they used to try to ridicule black women for that.
Yeah.
Well, I remember a time it's always been like that. But when Kim came out and Kim had that look, I feel like Kim made it mainstream, and it wasn't just a culture thing. It turned mainstream when Kim got famous, because it was a time when Kim Kardashian's booty didn't look fake. It looked 100%. We all saw the tape. It looked 100% authentic.
Yeah.
Now, you know, I don't know what's going on now, but I know when she first came out, that booty was on another planet. And I think it captivated everybody, and it changed the way women wanted to look.
You know, their dad, their actual father was one of OJ's, you know, lawyers.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, so this to me, that family had all the makings of being a big, successful show, because their father, the history of their father being, you know, we all remember the O.J. Simpson trials and everything, you know, the glove not fitting, all that stuff right there. But also you had Bruce Jenner, arguably one of the greatest athletes in, I believe it was the 80s. I mean, one of the greatest athletes in Olympic.
Probably all time.
All time.
One of the greatest athletes of all time, probably.
I mean, you know, and I mean, it's just crazy. The men that are attached to them, I don't know what happens to them, but it's like they lose their mind. Look at Kanye. Look at Lamar Odom. I mean, I mean, it is nuts that some of the men that are attached to those women, I don't know if they're putting that voodoo on them or what, but they lose their mind.
It is.
I think they got a little something else that drives the men crazy.
Yeah.
I think like you said, Shad, and that's what I was waiting for somebody to bring up, that she took it mainstream. Like in the black community, curves have always been a thing. You know what I mean? Like we love our, you know,
black women always have beautiful curves.
But like she made it mainstream when white women wanted to try to. Now white women want the butts, they want the big boobs, the big lips. I mean, you know, and
the hands, all of that.
Hands and all that stuff. And she, you know, she made it, you know, popular. You know, I'm not gonna say cool, because I've always thought it was cool, you know, but she made it popular.
Well, she made it cool for all the white women out there that didn't think it was cool.
Just the show in general, not only Kim, you know, I look at shows just like movies and just like series, you know, it's a cast. And like if you look at it, you know, from a perspective how the cast was, it was perfect. It was her family, but each individual had stuff going on. You know, you got the mom, Kris Jenner, the momager. She does everything, but they be cussing her out and all kind of stuff. But they appreciate her at the end of the day. You got Chloe, you got Kylie, you got Kendall. All of those are huge in their own rights now. And you got Bruce, the Olympian. You know what I mean? Big time. So just
that family was set up for reality television success. It's like I always used to say about the Jersey Shore. Like you couldn't have written a better cast than that.
Mm-hmm.
This dude named Mike, and he calls his abs the situation. You couldn't write a character better than that.
Yeah.
Like, and that's how the Kardashians, like that family was just like, because as beautiful as Kim is, and as much as she changed the game mainstream wise, Khloe's probably the dopest one. Like to me, I always thought Khloe was the dopest one. Like, Kourtney's gorgeous in her own right. Khloe fine too, but Kourtney's gorgeous in her own right. But I always thought Kim was the one that, you know, before everybody else got their own lane, Kim was the one that kind of hoisted it up on that booty and took it into and made it what it is now. And, you know, but yeah, it's crazy that they've been on that long though.
She carried the show on her booty.
She carried the show on her booty. She did. She carried the show on her booty.
Oh man, yeah. We America's gonna be sad to see it go, but it's been around forever. You know, it's just one of those. All good things come to an end. And Tom is getting destroyed right now. By the way,
that's they get smacked. Tom, old. I told you, Tom was old.
Yeah. Give it time.
Tom will be all right once he get. You know, Tom's gonna be Tom. Tom Brady and Michael Jordan, the two athletes in the history of, well, in my lifetime, that you just can't count them out.
Right.
You can't count them out. What Rudy Tom Johnson say? Never, ever, ever underestimate the heart of a champion.
Never.
If anybody got the heart of a champion, it's Tom Brady. I joke about Tom, but Tom is Tom.
Championships ain't won in week 1. You can't really judge. They didn't have a preseason and all that.
Nah.
So.
Hey,
he
but y'all
ain't
forget,
really
man,
got a chemistry with these guys yet. I mean,
even up in New England, Tom always would go like a 0-2 sometimes, 1-2, 1-3, and then they would just turn it on for the playoffs.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he's always – but like I said, I watched some of that game earlier. Some of that was just getting that chemistry up with his wide receivers. Some of them stopped when they should have kept running. One I saw resulted in an interception. Some of them resulted in just, it's all about team chemistry. They'll be fine at the end of the day.
They'll be fine. Tom will win MVP. They'll be fine.
All right. Well, we want to thank the Kardashians for all the great TV, that they gave us, but it's coming to an end.
The Kardashians are still going to be around, though.
Yeah.
They'll still be around. They've got stuff going for them.
They money.
Yeah, they'll be all right.
They money make money. All right, we're going to move on to the next topic. Big Sean. Last week he released Detroit 2, which is banging, by the way. I suggested that to listen to. He's projected to be, well, I ain't gonna say projected. He has the #1 album out right now. It's amazing.
Over 6'9", ain't it?
Over 6'9", and his antics. So Big Sean, how do you feel about Big Sean, his status, what he had in the game, and him as a rapper?
I always, Big Sean, I always had a funny kind of relationship with Big Sean. I think personally now, I think that Big Sean is one of the most talented rappers that I've ever listened to. Like, he's just talented. I remember like his first album and his early stuff. I used to be obsessed with the song So Much More. And I do it
this way before. That one.
Been this way before. And it's having so much more.
I thought so.
That was Big Sean went off, and when he said the stuff about Chewbacca and Star Wars, it just took me to another level of Big Sean fan. Yeah. I always thought that Big Sean he's always been lyrically dope. I always thought, like, when I hear him and he's on his A game, I'm like, that guy one of the best rappers I ever heard. Like he got one of the best flows that I've ever heard when he's on his A game. Mm-hmm. It's like how I feel about Russell Westbrook in a sense. It's like sometimes when I watch Russell Westbrook, I'm like, that guy the best basketball player I ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Like some games, he looks like that. Sometimes he looks like the best basketball player I ever seen in my life. And then other times it's like, what you doing, Russell? And I feel like that about Big Sean a little bit. It's like, to me, he hadn't ever really, I don't want to say he hadn't lived up to his potential, because Big Sean got mega hits. He due for 1 or 2 on every album. All his albums are good albums.
Yeah, really good albums.
I just think that he always gets left out of the conversation when it comes to the top tier rappers. I feel like people leave him out, and I'm like, he's as talented as all of them.
Yeah,
he's as talented as Kendrick.
Yeah.
He's as talented as Drake. He's as talented as Cole. But for whatever reason, he don't get mentioned when it comes to the top tier guys. I think he's top 5 of this era, but
yeah, I do too. I mean, because it's like when you think of the top MCs, you'll go Kendrick, J. Cole, Drake, and then you'd be like, who else? And then somebody say Big Sean. Oh yeah, Big Sean. And
it's like they forget it.
It's like they forget him. I don't feel like they should go, oh yeah, Big Sean. Wale on that list too. He do amazing album. Wale got an album with Jerry Seinfeld. Who in the hell does that? So like, I think he gets left out. But I'm glad to see him, go #1 this week. They took out the bundles, so it's it's actually people listening to it. He did 117 this week, I think. 6ix9ine was projected to do 150, but then they took those bundles out and he did 65, I believe. So, but yeah,
That rap flop.
yeah, that trolling. Now 65 can be good depending on who you are. Now
65 is good if you're not Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Exactly, and you got money behind you, and you know, real funding behind you, and all that shit you be talking. So,
but anybody else, if we was to come out with a rap album right now, 65 is good.
Oh, 65, we bought one?
Yeah.
They'll do 35.
Yeah, but when you're projected to do, you know, when you're projected to do 150 and you flop to 65, but you know, I don't like the rap personally. I do love Big Sean, and Detroit isn't it Detroit 2, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it's a good album. It's really good. It's he's got a lot of heat in that album. It's good. It's really good.
You know, I'm one of the biggest Big Sean fans. So, like, personally, you shouldn't ask me because I'm a stan. There's two people that I'm a stan, no matter what. Actually, 3, 4. Well, I stand a lot of people. Hov, I stand M, and I stand Big Sean and Wale. Y'all can't say shit about them, you know, when it comes to rap. So, but yeah, the album is fire. I'm glad he #1. You know, hopefully he could build all this and just keep a little momentum. He gonna have hits off of it because that's what Big Sean do.
That's what Big Sean do. He gonna make hits. Like, is Big Sean the? I'm trying to find somebody to compare him to. Is he the Ludacris of this era? Is he the Fabulous of this era?
I think the Ludacris of this era gonna be the Baby.
Yeah.
You think his run gonna go that long?
Yeah.
Now I think that he's a talented guy, but that's how I praise Ludacris. You know, he dominated the 2000s.
I wouldn't say that. I want to say the Baby because Ludacris was like talented enough to be the best. You know what I mean? Like the best pure rapper on any given. He could have been. You know,
I think Luda is one of, if the not most talented rappers that's ever come out of the South. I'm not saying he's the best rapper to ever come out of the South, but I'm saying of my lifetime, Ludacris might be the most talented. In other words, Luda can do anything. He can go fast, he can go slow, he can have depth, he can have fun. Luda can do it all. He can write songs, he can flow. He got all of it. He went with the braids. When the braids was in, he cut his hair. He won a Grammy. He beat T.I. out the year T.I. came out with King for a Grammy. Like, Ludacris can do it all. I think people forget it.
What's your favorite Ludacris song or line?
It's Saturday, Sticky Yicky Yicky.
That's your favorite song?
Sticky Yicky Yicky.
What about you, Kendall? Favorite
Back
Ludacris song?
seat, windows up. That's the way I like to.
Whoa!
Some edge from Kendall.
But yeah, congratulations.
Hey, Ludacris, no lie, Ludacris is one of my favorite rappers of all time.
My favorite Ludacris line is "I'm on your record like Bob Costas." That's probably my favorite Ludacris line.
My favorite Ludacris song is the intro from Word of Mouth. Christian can vouch for me because I rap it all the time. And I got several favorite Luda lines. I can't just give you one. You know. So, but yeah, shout out to Big Sean on the #1 album. You know, we big time listeners over here at Nova Trifecta. All right, moving on to the next topic. We gonna slither over here into sports. Shout out to the Lakers. Shout out to Lake Show. We going to the conference finals for the first time since Kobe in 2010, I believe, 2010, 2011. How you guys feel about this? I know it's bad for you being a Spurs fan, Ken, but as for me and Shad, you know, this is wonderful news.
I saw this happening when they acquired LeBron James. I knew this was going to happen. The Spurs was going to get back on top. It's my only prediction of this finals of the NBA bubble that has not flopped. You know, I had Toronto over there on the other side, but we saw what Celtics done to them. But I said it from the beginning, and I still stand on it. Nobody takes down the Lakers in 7 games.
I'm absolutely 100%
And that boy Caruso is balling. Caruso is balling.
I'm 100% pleased with the Lakers. You know, me and Juice have been Laker fans our entire lives. We hadn't gone this far in the postseason since 2010 when Kobe beat the Seas with the help of, you know, Gasol and Bynum and Ron Artest and Lamar Odom and all those boys. But to win both first and second round in 5 games, I think gonna give LeBron and AD some time to rest up and await the opponent. I'm hoping that we get to play Denver because I don't think Denver can do nothing with Bron or AD. I don't really want to play the Clippers just because they're so deep, and that scares me because, you know, we kind of iffy. Our role players will play great one night, and then another night, you know, we kind of iffy, and then they'll play great, and then we kind of iffy. But I will say, since Rondo been back, the role players have been playing good because Rondo is Rondo. Playoff Rondo can get in there and keep everybody involved in the game, take a lot of pressure off of LeBron.
But let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. When it comes to the Clippers, everybody say they deep and all this stuff. Are they
overrated?
Are they really that deep? Because every time one player is missing, it's like, and they lose, it's like, oh, what if they would have had, or if they would have had. To me, if you
overrated,
if you deep and you missing and if it's not a superstar and you missing a key role player, you're not that deep. I don't feel like the only person that really scares me on their team is Sweet Lou, Lemon Pepper Lou, Lap Dance Lou. That's the only person that scares me. You know, when it comes
Lap Dance Lou.
When it comes, I got that more Shay Sharp. When it comes off the bench, I mean Montrezl Harrell.
Uncle Shay.
He's 6th man of the year. He's good, but do he scare you when it comes to Lakers? Like, I think we just a better squad. Nobody really.
I think we got a better team.
Paul George, I mean, playoff P is a real thing. He crumbles under the pressure. So, you know what I mean? Like, Kawhi, the only one that really balls. And Kawhi got to live up. First off, they got to get out this game 7.
They got to get out game 7.
They blowing these leagues and crumbling. That's not good. But I just think the Lakers are a better team. If you look, I go off the eye test. If you look how LeBron playing, he just on a whole nother level right now. Him and
I agree.
And Caruso, Jordan, White Jordan.
You got Caruso out there looking like Steve Kerr, John Paxson
on everything. So,
but I the only reason I said I didn't want to deal with the Clippers is because I want LeBron one time in his life to have an easy finals. Like, I just want LeBron. I mean, all of them been so hard for the man. Oh, they're just walking in your house. I just want LeBron to, for one time in his life, have an easy road to the finals and an easy final. I mean, I don't think, I mean, they all NBA teams. If they play Miami in the finals, it ain't going to be easy because Jimmy Butler got those boys down there balling like the Celtics back in the
buckets.
Back in the old school. And then you still got, you know, the Clippers. You might, even if they play Denver, it's going to be a series, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Clippers, to me, the Clippers are the worst matchup for the Lakers just because they've got some superstars. Who's to say playoff P just balls out in this, you know, they make it, they get past Denver, he gets to the Lakers, and he just turns it up a notch. Then you got Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, you know. I mean, they do have a good roster. They got a good bench, but they are highly overrated. I think. To me, what happened to me, all this hype came from what Kawhi done last year when he won a finals up there in Toronto, and then he goes to the Clippers, and they're like, well, if he done it with that bench and that team up there in Toronto, he'll come over here to the Clippers, and we'll add more players, and we're gonna, you know, we'll do it. And it just hadn't worked out for them the way, you know.
Well, you know what I say about Kawhi is that Kawhi got, to me, he got the two strangest, weirdest finals MVPs because as great as Kawhi Leonard is, I don't know how to take his finals MVPs because, I mean, he won on San Antonio, but, you know, they could have gave it to anybody in that series. It wasn't like he played outstanding. I think he averaged like 12 or 13 points, but he held LeBron to like 28, 6, and 7. Like, he kept LeBron from scoring 50 a night, so they gave him the MVP. Like, they could have gave it to anybody. He was the 4th best player on that team behind Tony Parker, Tim Duncan, and Ginobili. And then he gets one for Toronto last year. But, I mean, you dealing with a Toronto is in an Eastern Conference with no LeBron James to go through. And then he hits a lucky shot in the second round that got him past Philly. And then you get to the finals and you don't got to play KD or Klay Thompson Warriors. So, I mean, you playing a feeble Warriors team that's got to figure out how to play without their best player and their 3rd best player.
Yeah.
So, I don't know how to take this finals MVPs. As great as he is, I don't know how to take the finals MVPs.
I know that's what you say about Kawhi, but my thing is, if LeBron does it this year, people are going to say that about him. This is kind of a weird, the bubble. It didn't make, it's a weird MVP, finals.
They're going to figure out a way to hate on LeBron either way it goes.
Yeah, exactly.
If he loses,
whoever wins this one, it is going to be a weird one. Don't get me wrong, but I know you say that the Kawhi ones were weird, but I mean, he had an easier path. I'll give him that. He did last year, especially last year. He had an easier path. So,
well, they gonna find a way. This is what I've learned about LeBron haters. They gonna find a way to hate on LeBron. It don't matter what LeBron do. Now, if he wins, they gonna say it was a weird year and he won because such and such and such and such, because it's 2020 and it's a weird year and they had a lot of rest and a lot of days off, and they gonna say that. But if he loses, they gonna say, dang, he couldn't even win in this season. He couldn't. I mean, so either way it goes, they gonna find a way to hate on Bron. Bron just needs to stay focused and go out there and win anyway, and let him talk. Because this gonna be, if he wins this year, this will be 3 championships on 3 different teams. That makes you the GOAT to me. To me, that makes you the GOAT.
It's crazy.
I know we love Michael Jordan. We grew up with Michael Jordan. He was on Space Jam. He saved the world. I still think he needed Bill Murray to do that. But whatever. I get it. I have all his shoes and stuff too. I still got all my Jordans and stuff. He taught me how to love basketball too. Kobe Bryant, is the reason why I'm the NBA fan I am today. But Michael taught all of us how to love basketball. So I understand why it's a place that LeBron will never reach in people our age heart, about that. But I do think that, come on, LeBron wins 3.
He is. He to me, it's Kobe, Mike, and Bron. But I just my only thing is I don't like how some people try to skip Kobe. You know what I mean? Just go, you know what I mean? Which lately, since he passed, they elevated him. But before he passed,
that's fake love.
Yeah, they will have Kobe at 7 or 8, which is to me fucking ridiculous.
Absurd. That's ridiculous.
As great as Larry Bird was, he can't hoop like Kobe.
That is ridiculous. Look, nobody. I resented Kobe Bryant when he was playing because I was a Spurs. He ripped my heart out many a times. I couldn't stand the man. And, but I appreciate him. And as much as I love Mike, I appreciate what LeBron's doing.
I think that's what it boils down to. I think that's.
But I don't understand. You've got people that hate on LeBron and hate on Bron.
If you're a basketball fan, you should just appreciate the greatness. Because, Juicy, how long did I used to say before Kobe Bryant retired? I said it's going to be a sad, sad day in the NBA when Kobe retires. And these people didn't appreciate him because they kept on, they kept not wanting to give him his flowers because of Michael Jordan. And they doing the same thing with LeBron. And then in his final season, they're going to be acting like they appreciated him so much. But they hadn't. They haven't appreciated LeBron. And I think a lot of it's the Skip Bayless culture. He started all of the LeBron hate. He did. He did. Yeah. I think Skip Bayless the GOAT. But he did start all of LeBron, the LeBron hate and stuff. And I think you got to give these people their flowers, man. That's greatness, man. You got to appreciate that greatness.
Do you know how lucky us three are that we got to see prime MJ, prime Kobe, prime LeBron?
Yeah.
And I don't care what generation you grew up, and you've got old heads that are going to argue with you about the 80s and, you know, the late 70s and stuff like that. It's a different game from each generation to generation. The game evolves, the game gets better, things change.
Yeah.
But we got to see three of the best to ever lace them up. We got to see all three of them in their prime. And no, I did not appreciate Kobe like I should have appreciated him when he was playing, simply because I was a Spurs fan. But looking back at it, man, that was some magic he was doing, even though it was against.
But that's what it's about, is just appreciate. I'm a Lakers fan, so in the 2000s, I hated your San Antonio Spurs. I couldn't stand Tim Duncan. I couldn't stand Ginobili. But you know what? I don't regret anything from their careers, because I know for a fact that I appreciated every single time I got to watch the San Antonio Spurs. I appreciated it, and I miss them, and I hated them back then, but I appreciated it. I appreciated the way they played, what they showed us, what they gave us in the NBA. I appreciated how they came to work every day. I said a long time ago, and I think you said it too, that if LeBron wants to just go to a franchise where he don't have to worry about being the coach, he don't have to worry about being in the front office, he don't have to worry about the role players or the system, he needs to go to San Antonio, let Pop manage his minutes, and win 2 more championships and walk away. That I said that, and you said that before he went back to Cleveland for the second time.
Yeah, for the second time. Yeah, because we wasn't in the
top. Left Miami, I said LeBron needs to go to San Antonio and let Pop manage him and win 2 or 3 more titles and ride off into the sunset.
It would his career, and people might look at him differently had he chose to go to San Antonio when he left Miami. I think they would have looked at him differently.
I don't think it's nothing Bron could do, for people to appreciate him, because they do this to everybody that's as good as MJ. They do this. They done it to Kobe, and then they act like they loved him so much when he was getting ready to retire. I mean, and I mean, anybody that rivals Jordan, that's what they do it. They do that to him. And I mean, LeBron, what else can LeBron do? LeBron is speaks up on social issues and, starts schools and LeBron don't have to do that stuff.
That's to me that if we all watched The Last Dance, when Jordan chose not to do that, not to endorse certain, political candidates and stuff like that, he kept his name out of it. Yeah. I mean, that just went so far with a lot of people. Yeah. And now LeBron, I mean, we're seeing it. We're seeing it in all sports now. When you speak out and use your platform in politics and in the world, in the racial issues that are going on here in America, when you speak out, if you're against certain parties, certain parties, I shouldn't say it that way. If you speak out, whatever side of the fence you're on, the other side of the fence is going to hate your guts, and they're going to try to bury you. And that's what he finds himself in. Not only does he rival Jordan as being the greatest of all time, now he's speaking about politics, and people cannot stand it.
And I don't think it's an obligation of people to pick a side or to speak out on social issues. I don't fault MJ for doing that. I don't. Right. I think you got a right to do it however you want to do it. And he chose not to do it and get the bag. And then I'll help on the side. It ain't nothing wrong with helping in silence, and doing things out of the public eye. And if that's how Mike chose to do it, that's fine. He can do that. I think people try to put too much pressure on people in this era anyway. Yeah. Like, you got to say something. Like they've always thought that rappers I need to hear you speak out on some black issues. He a rapper. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. Right. Now, I applaud the ones who do, because we need it, but I ain't gonna tell a rapper he need to speak about social issues. He a rapper. I mean, he don't have to if he don't want to, but I applaud the ones that do.
Yeah, I think it's crazy. And people, this is my thing, people forget that we're living in a free country. We're supposed to be in a free country. Those men and women that that paid the ultimate sacrifice. They paid the ultimate sacrifice. So me, you, so we can say the things that we want to say, so we can speak our minds, so we can have that freedom of speech. And, you know, he has a bigger platform than me and you will ever have. And he speaks his mind, and he speaks out on it. He started a school back in Ohio. You know, I mean, and people hate him for it. And it's just, America needs to realize that this is the land of the free because of the brave. And it's okay that we're Americans. It's okay to have pride in America, but it's also okay not to agree with everything that's going on in America. And I think so many people are getting the two confused. Black
men speaking up, and I'm with it.
Yeah.
Black men speaking up, because black men, the ones out here getting, unarmed black men, the ones getting, gunned down by law enforcement most of the time. And so black men, black powerful men speaking up about it, and I'm here for it.
There's nothing wrong with using your platform to speak out on the issues that are going on in this country. There's nothing wrong with it. People just need to respect
everybody's right to speak out.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what it's sad, because that's where we're at as a nation. If you say something that I don't agree with, then I want to hate on you. I want to hate on you. I don't want to be your friend. You're so unpatriotic. You don't love this country like I love this country because you spoke your mind and you feel a certain way. And that's not how it is. Everybody has a right to feel a certain way about what's going on in America.
And what about the people? And what about the people that the country hasn't loved back?
Right.
That's what Black America is saying. Yeah. Black America, and Doc Rivers said it best when he got emotional the other day at the press conference. We've loved this country, but shoot, this country ain't never loved us back. Yeah. So black men got every right to use their platform to speak about that. And you just need to respect it.
I mean, you said something. You said something last week, he says he agrees. I don't mean to cut you off, Juicy.
Go ahead.
Shad, you said something a couple weeks ago that has stuck with me, and I never gave it no thought, but it stuck with me. It said that y'all's experiences was different than mine. Y'all went off and fought in a war for our freedom and come back and had to go to the back to get y'all's food.
Yeah.
And had to sit in the back of a bus. And I never even looked at it that way, even though I'm sensitive to the fact, and even though I believe what's going on is ridiculous, but I still didn't even, it just hit me a way that something hadn't hit me in a long time. And it was like, man, I can't imagine going off and fighting for this country, almost dying for this country, and then coming back, and I don't have the same rights as the white man standing beside me that done the same thing. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I agree with all of what you guys have said. That was brilliant. Brilliant. I don't know how we got there, but we got there.
I don't know how we got there either. I don't know how we got on social issues, but we took it there and we went there.
That's fine. The Lakers, in the Western Conference Final, who they facing remains to be seen. I'm pretty sure by the time we do another podcast, we'll have, the Western Conference representatives. But moving on. To our last topic, the NFL started back. I'm excited. Detroit, what?
I'm losing.
Detroit, what? We lost today. I don't know how. I don't know how.
I have no idea how Juicy ended up being a Detroit Lions fan. I will never understand it. But that brother has been loyal to Detroit. But I don't know. I collaborated with his wife to get him a Detroit Lions jersey one year. He got the Detroit Lions toboggan. I have no idea how he ended up being a Detroit Lions fan, being from Dora, Alabama. But it is what it is.
He loves to be heartbroken, I guess. He loves to be hurt.
I do. That's the theme.
But you know what? I had no room to speak because I love the same thing because I'm a Cowboys fan. And for the past, I don't know how many years, we've had the best roster in our division, in our league, just about. It can't put it together because I'm a Cowboys fan too. Oh man, you talk about heartbreak, but I don't. Juicy, how did you become a Lions fan?
Barry
Did you
Sanders.
just watch Barry Sanders like cut through a defense?
Yeah, Barry Sanders, and like I got older. I mean, I don't know. You know, sometimes your team, you don't choose your team chooses you. And so they chose me. You know, with Barry, I love watching Barry run. That's pretty much all I know. And when the Lions drafted Kevin, I was a big Kevin Jones fan when he was
Megatron.
It was before Megatron. Kevin Jones played at Virginia Tech. It was like
my bad. I thought you said Calvin Johnson. My bad.
It was like a year or two after Michael Vick, I want to say, probably 01, 02, 03. But like I was a Lions fan then, but when they drafted him, I mean, I took it to a whole nother level. So I'm a loyal fan. You know, I'm gonna be a loyal. Yeah. I remember being a Bama fan when it went cool. And I don't remember. I don't remember when I was in high school, all these Alabama fans.
What?
I remember arguing with a whole lot of Auburn fans. We got our ass kicked 6 times in a row. So it's just not in me, you know, to be a bandwagon fan. I'm a ride for mine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I remember, I'm with you, Juicy, even though I'm a diehard Auburn Tiger fan. Y'all been Alabama fans when it wasn't cool to be an Alabama fan. I remember being in high school in the early 2000s, when all of us were, and I can remember, I can remember all these people that scream "Roll Tide, Roll Tide." Now they wasn't screaming "Roll Tide" then when y'all was getting blitzed by us every single year in the Iron Bowl.
They were screaming for Cadillac and Ronnie Brown and Jason Campbell back then. We were struggling with Dubose, and I mean, we lived through the Shula days, the Dubose days, the brief Mike Price days. I mean,
we should have played in that national championship when we had
absolutely
Cadillac, Ronnie Brown, Campbell. We should have definitely played then.
Yeah, I don't know if y'all had an answer for what USC was doing, but it would have been a whole lot closer than what Oklahoma did.
USC was a different animal that year. I think Reggie Bush is the greatest college football player of my lifetime. So I can't say what Reggie would or wouldn't have done in that game. But I think Auburn deserved a chance to play in the game.
What y'all think y'all Cowboys gonna do, man? Stand on the NFL thing. What y'all gonna do tonight?
We're gonna win the division this year.
Y'all playing tonight. Y'all playing the Rams tonight. So
yeah, we got the Rams tonight. I hope that game pans out. It's still kind of up in the air because of the air quality going on. Which reminds me, man, our thoughts and prayers to everybody out there on the West Coast in California. Those wildfires, people's lives are being drastically changed and affected. So from Nova Trifecta, our thoughts and our prayers to y'all.
Agreed.
So they talked about earlier today that the game was almost up in the air because of the air quality in LA. But I seen the San Francisco 49ers and the Cardinals played. I believe that was a 49ers home game. So I think we should be able to get this game. You know, I think we're going to play. I look for us to win tonight, but I also look for us to win the division. Because if y'all didn't watch Philadelphia and Washington, that was a rough game to watch.
Yeah, and I'm not picking nothing with Dallas, and I'm a Dallas fan. I'm not picking nothing with Dallas yet because I pick Dallas to win the division every year, and I get let down every year. I pick them to get to the Super Bowl every year, and it don't happen. We've been having the most talented roster in the NFL since Tony Romo and T.O. got there. We have consistently had
10 years.
10 years. Yeah, we've consistently had at least the top 10 roster and nothing to show for it.
And we've had good defenses too. We've had really good defensive coordinators.
Yeah.
And we just, I'm a firm believer that it was Jason Garrett was not respected and he was not that great of a coach. And that's I'm sticking with that. I think we're turning the page. I think Dak's about to ball out, and I think McCarthy's he's gonna get us over the hump, fellas.
Well, Dak want to get some paper, so Dak gonna have to play phenomenal this season.
Hey, I also commend Dak for speaking up on an issue that a lot of men and a lot of our society, just not men, but a lot of men have trouble speaking on mental illness. That's real, man. Mental illness and depression. And he spoke out about it. You know, his brother committing suicide, and I could not imagine, man. I could not imagine what he was going through. And you know, then the pandemic hits and he's being told he's got to stay inside by himself in his house, and his brother.
But I think all together, like, I think people are too hard on athletes. I know that people, I know that people say that they're pampered and they make a lot of money and they're on TV every day. That don't mean people happy. That don't mean people happy. Everybody, it's a line in Wonder Woman that I think is a great line. And one of the characters told Wonder Woman, everybody's dealing with something. Everybody's got something going on in their lives. Paraphrasing, but everybody's got something. I thought that was a great line, especially to put in a superhero movie is always full of great lines, but that was a great line to me because it's the truth. Everybody dealing with something. It don't matter that they rich and they on TV every day. That don't got nothing to do with mental health and what kind of space you're in, what kind of vibe you're in and stuff like that. People's lives can be a wreck. We've seen it forever. The celebrities look like they got terrible lives to me. I mean, I've never thought the lifestyle looked appealing, to be honest with you. I mean, they got a lot of...
Look at Robin Williams. Robin Williams is one of the happiest people I thought ever lived. Like, made all these movies, and I mean, he was just always fun-loving, and I mean, he took his own life. I mean,
Biggie said, more money, more problems. Biggie said
right.
That. So, I mean, right. I think people too hard on athletes and stuff and stay on them all the time and bully them over the internet and all of that. And people want to talk about, people ain't tough no more and all that. Listen, hurt feelings is hurt feelings, man. It don't make no difference.
I'm going to tell you, you know, we're as we've gotten older, I look back at it, and one thing I can't stand, when a young athlete, let's say the college level, plays his heart out for his university, and they lose like a heartbreaking game, the next thing the media or he makes a mistake, and the media wants to stick a microphone up in his face and say this. And, you know, they got all over Cam after Cam lost the Super Bowl because how he acted in the press conference. But think about how we were, what our thoughts were when we were 18, 19, 20 years old. If we'd have made a big mistake that had been plastered all over the TV, I mean, think about if we'd have had social media and camera phones back then, we'd have gotten a whole lot more trouble. There'd have been a whole lot of stuff that have came out. And I always said this. I always felt bad for Tim Tebow because they put him on such a high pedestal being a Christian that they don't take in consideration he's still a human man. And I hope and pray to God he don't ever fall or something bad don't ever come out, because they will never let him hear the end of it. Oh, you were supposed to be this big Christian. I can't believe at the end of the day, they are human beings. They go through the same. You don't think Dak loved his brother like we love our brothers?
Yeah. People forget that these celebrities, not only are they just normal human beings like us, but people also forget they kids.
They're kids.
Half of them kids.
They're kids.
And, you know, and this ain't even about being a kid, but that's Dak's brother. You know what I mean? That's his brother. I mean, even when Playoff P was talking about his absolutely horrid play that he had been doing in the playoffs. Yeah. But when he said something about his mental health, I backed off because I'm like, I don't know what that man been going through. Yeah. And that his sole purpose on this planet is not to play basketball. Right. That's just what he does.
Right.
You know, his purpose, I mean, he a human being. And that man said he was going through stuff. So anytime somebody say that, I'm backing off of that. Because that man dealing with something that I don't understand. Basketball, he dealing with something.
Not only some of them kids, some of them are young married kids that have wife and kids. Like, there's no way. I mean, I'd have been all over the place back when we first got married and we had all these kids, and I'm trying to learn how to be a husband and learn how to be a father and trying to carry the weight of the world or cities and towns on me. I mean,
think about how fast life comes at some of those kids. They get in the league, they handed the world, and they like, here goes the future of a multi-million-dollar company. Do what you can do. But if you lose, we're going to get all over you. And see, I've always looked at America like you crown these kids because they can run fast and jump high. Yeah. And then when they get a wee bit arrogant, you turn your back on them and start talking bad about them. Because Kanye West said it's hard to be humble when you stunting on the Jumbotron. That's the truth. I'm the LeBron of rhyme. Hard to be humble when you stunting on the Jumbotron. It is hard to be humble when you stunting on the Jumbotron. And then they got a lot of stuff coming. They got girls coming at them. They got money coming at them. They got fame coming at them. They got family with their hands out. They got man, that's enough to drive anybody crazy. Yeah, not crazy, but it's enough to put anybody in a weird space mentally.
I mean, you think about us three know somebody personally that's got to the highest level you can get in the NFL. You think about what his family. Yeah. I mean, you think about some of the people that was trying to, get a free ride with him. You know? I mean, you think it had to weigh on his mind too. So I can't imagine, I just can't imagine it, man. It's one of those things that sometimes I look at it and now I'm old enough and mature enough to see some stuff, and it's like, man, I don't know if I don't want to win it. I don't know if I would have wanted to go through that.
Yeah. At the end of the day, athletes are human beings too. Go through the same human emotion. Just because you got a lot of money, the most money you can have, doesn't mean you go through shit mentally. Because when you die, when you leave, you can't take none of that shit with you.
Amen.
You kind of gotta be. It's a slippery slope when people start talking about those kind of feelings that they have. You kind of gotta be sensitive to it because again, you never know what people might be going through. Just because you got a lot of money don't mean you don't go through problems. More money, more problems. Big and puppy. So that still remains the same nowadays. So having said all that, we're gonna wrap up the NFL conversation. We coming to the end of the podcast. Really good podcast today, fellas. As we have been ending the show, I would like for y'all to give, an album, music, a movie, a series, something that you can give the people to listen to that you suggest.
I'm suggesting Cobra Kai to everybody. I'm a fan for anything nostalgic. So watching Cobra Kai this weekend, I've been shut up in the house all weekend. Feel like I'm in Dragon Ball Z hyperbolic time chamber. I've been in here and I've been watching Cobra Kai, and just the nostalgia. It made me wish that I remembered anything about the 80s. I was born in 1986. I'm 34. So I don't remember anything about the 80s. Damn. But I wish I did, because 80s movies and 80s music and 80s, what you say, man? But it just brought back so many, brought back a nostalgic feeling. I love the Karate Kid movies growing up. And so Cobra Kai, that's one thing that they'll do in this era. I think that creativity has taken a dip in this era, but the way that they can latch on to a trilogy or a franchise and continue that story is what they're really good at in this era. They can get on to a famous franchise and they can keep it going. Keep it going. Like they done kept Terminator going, and they didn't. Last Terminator didn't do that great at the box office, but it was a good movie. But they found a way to keep some of this stuff going. Because they can tell it from a different character's perspective, and now they're telling it from Cobra Kai's perspective. And so now you're looking at it like, well, Danielson is a good guy, but the guy got a point. Danielson showed up, took his girl, all that. Okay, I get it.
He was a douchebag. LaRusso was a douchebag.
I don't think LaRusso was a douchebag. I'm still rocking with Daniel LaRusso because Daniel LaRusso a good guy. I'm not going to change my perspective on Daniel LaRusso after I've been rocking with him for 30 years. I still think Johnny's a douche, but Johnny's changing. And
but
everybody
reserve
the right to change.
We gonna actually do a Cobra Kai, breakdown discussion next week because it's so good. It's worthy of discussing.
Yes,
so.
It is.
Is there anything else you want to suggest? I mean, that's a series. Any music? It could be old because mine is old.
Music. This week, I get in these zones for my favorite rappers. And the zone I've been in all week is Eminem. I've been listening to the Marshall Mathers LP. Go back and listen to the Marshall. If you having second thoughts on how good, because kids today will never, ever, ever understand how big Eminem was in our era, in the 2000s growing up. Kids today have no idea how big that dude was. Like, Eminem was the biggest artist on planet Earth.
You had
and
a lot of white kids that dyed their hair blonde and try to be rappers because of Eminem. He was huge.
He was. Eminem used to go to TRL and shut all of New York down. Yeah. Everybody out there got on white T-shirts and blonde hair.
Marshall Mathers LP. That's he got one of my favorite lines when he go skibbity bebop, but Christopher Reeve.
Sonny Bono skis, hitting some trees.
I've been listen to me. Yeah, that album is insane, by the way.
It is. It's one of the big. I think Eminem got two classics in a row: the Marshall Mathers LP and the Eminem Show. And I know a lot of people like to take credit from him today, but you know what I done always said: I don't judge rappers outside of their prime. I judge them in their prime. And in his prime, hey, Eminem was second to none. Even though I think Jay-Z the GOAT.
What about you, Kendall? What you got?
Man, I have knocked out all of Cobra Kai. I started it. I finished it. I knocked all of it out. What I've been listening to has been Big Sean, Detroit. I'm not really listening to anything else, and I've not really watched anything else because I've either been watching Cobra Kai or I've been watching football or being a dad or a father. So I haven't really got anything new. Lady Beck did suggest something that is a kind of an older older Netflix series, but she is all about it. What little bit I have seen kind of drifting off to sleep, it's been okay, or it's been good, is Hemlock Grove. So I'm going to give Lady Beck suggest that y'all go watch Hemlock Grove on Netflix.
And when I was over there, I told her about Hemlock Grove. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't wait till she finish it because I want to get us perspective on that last season. I was a big fan of Hemlock Grove seasons 1 and 2.
Don't forget the Devil All the Time comes out Wednesday. And
we will be doing a review on that.
It's scenes from that movie that was shot in our old elementary school right here in Dora, Alabama. Yeah. So that's big for our city just to see. I remember going to the park and seeing all of the movie trailers, and they were like, Tom Holland's in there. And I was like, Spidey. So I crawled up on the side of it, and security got me.
Oh, man. All right.
And whatever. But check that movie out Wednesday. I'm not going to watch it because it looks too weird, and I don't like watching weird stuff. But check it out.
Yeah, what I'm gonna suggest is actually older. I ain't not too old, but a couple years ago, Childish Gambino, "Awaken My Love." That's what I'm gonna suggest. That's everybody know Redbone. Everybody know Redbone, but it got some bangers on there.
My peanut butter. Oh, never mind.
Hey, sing it to
me. Monterey Jack. Sitting over there, ain't it?
Hey.
I'm looking like Monterey Jack from Chicken There.
Yes, sir.
You remember that boy Monterey Jack?
I wasn't ready for that.
Yeah.
You remember when that boy Monterey Jack would smell that cheese?
Yeah. Back in the day, they called me Robin Fat, not Robin Thick, fellas.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Man.
I've been known to serenade Lady Beck a time or two.
All right.
Yeah, we got 4 kids. Y'all do the math. Come on now.
Oh, man. But yeah, "Awaken My Love." If for the music, I'm actually gonna suggest a movie. And I went back and watched it because in our current climate group chat, we was talking about trilogies, the best trilogies, which we might do a podcast on because there was some good stuff in there. But it made me go back and watch one of my favorite. If I was on an island and I had to watch a movie over and over, it'll be Star Trek from 2009. It's probably.
I don't understand it. It's another enigma about you. I tell you, if nothing else, you're one of the most interesting fella I ever seen in my life, man. Detroit Lions fan from Dora, Alabama. Love Star Trek 2009. I have literally never in my life heard another person mention that movie except you.
That Chris movie Pine. Is amazing. Star Trek.
I like the movie. I just don't understand how it's how you love it as much as you done been a fan of that movie since it came out. You're authentic, brother. I know that.
Me and Matt Selman went and watched that movie midday on a Saturday, I believe. And ever since I watched it, I thought it was the best fucking thing I ever seen in my life.
It's off the chain though. Especially when him and Spock went going through space. That was
visual. I think it's the visuals. To anything space though, like I love space shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like Lost in Space, Interstellar, anything in space and it's solid, I love. But when it's a lot of stuff visually that I seen in that movie that I ain't never seen done in movies. Especially the next two too. It's just certain scenes that's in there. So but yeah, I suggest if you hadn't seen Star Trek 2009, go watch that. Chris Pine, Zachary Quinto, Zoe Saldana with her fine ass. But yeah, it's a great cast. So but yeah. Nova Trifecta, any closing remarks before we get out of here?
Hey, it's 2020. Everybody stay safe. I'm praying for every single person that's lost a loved one this year due to anything. It's been a lot of people in our neighborhood, a lot of people in our community. Juicy, your sister, thoughts and prayers to your family. Kendall, your grandfather, thoughts and prayers to your family. Thoughts and prayers to my family. We lost our uncle. And my grandmother lost her son, and my mother lost her brother, all the same person, Uncle Felix. So thoughts and prayers to all the people in bereavement for the loss of a loved one in 2020. It's been a rough one.
It's been a rough one for all of us. Do not take nothing for granted. Tell your kids, your brothers, your sisters, your friend. Tell every chance you get, you better tell the ones you love that you love them. Check on them. See how they're doing, man. It's been a rough year.
Tell your friends you love them. Tell your friends you love them. Drop that macho mess. Tell your friends you love them.
Absolutely. And if you're going, we spoke a lot about mental health on this issue. If you're going through something, there's no shame in reaching out to people or professional, medical help. There's nothing wrong. Don't be ashamed of that. Make sure you're right up here, man. It's just too much going on. Too much going on. So I love each and every one of you. Thank y'all for the love you're showing us. We love y'all. Stay safe. It's been a heck of a year. Just stay safe.
Yeah. Love, peace, and light to everybody. I want to say, let's try to have some unconditional love and not conditional love because there's a lot of that going around. I got love for my kids.
Let's stop being Democrats and Republicans. Let's all be brothers and sisters and love each other, regardless of each other's view, political stance, or whatever. Let's be proud to be Americans. Let's be proud to love each other.
Right. Love, peace, Nova Trifecta, episode 004. We are out.